Ragved said that the people living in the Pakat area, which is Pakht, were Pakhtyans, Pashtuns. They related like this, and they were here in this region. Never they were reported in the prehistoric books or references from the Arab land or from there. They were always reported in the eastern border of Iran, and that is why people call them Indo-Iranian people. They were in the Indus Valley, they were in Afghanistan, in Bactria, which they call Bakhtar in Pashto, and they used to speak the Pashto language. So there is no relationship between them. And it is well known that these people were expert in horses, in taking care of horses, having horses armies, were very skilled horse riders, and asabzi, aspuzi, aswaka, these are all the words which has something to do with horses. They are related with the horses, and that is why the isabzi, espuzi, they were horsemen and strong people in those regions, right? So believing in stories, you can believe in anything. If you say that I make this like this and this and this on the basis of what you say unauthentic evidences. Poetry is not history. A story is not history. Dr. Sir Zaman Taizé was among the great scientists of linguistics and history, and he used to tell me that first you look into authentic references, and when you lose the track of authentic references, then you go to the traditions. Yes. Archaeologists, they look into the coins, they look into the terracotta, they look into the various things people use. They found in the ruins of old buildings, of prehistoric buildings, and they look into that. On the basis of that, they reveal things that this means this means this. They calculate the age from there. So if something is genetically not proved, if something is linguistically not proved, if something is historically not proved on the basis of books. For example, people usually refer to the Nemat Heravi book, which was the history of Pashtuns. And that book was written in the court of Khan Jahan Lodi. Dr. Sir Zaman Taizé told me that this book is half from Taurat, and half are the stories he made by himself. The Torah was disappeared 2 times. So he told me that if it was true Torah, then it would have been very reliable. And Qazi Ataullah translated that book. So about that book, Dr. Taizé told me that it is translation of the Nemat Heravi book. So these are all stories, and Zaman Tanizeh has very clearly mentioned, scientifically proved, that all these stories are told by the storytellers in hujras and on streets. And that culture was very rich in India in those days, that people tell a story and people make history from that. But nowadays we are living in 21st century, and we must look into the scientific evidence, and it must have solid evidences. So if we don't have any solid evidence, then we can call it a true history. Okay. Yes, if somebody comes with us and they study genetically the Pashtuns, the Tajik, the Uzbeks, the Punjabis, the Sindhis and Balochis, and then the people of Israel and Arabs, and they compare it and we happen close to them, then there may be a relationship. But we clearly believe that Pashtuns and Tajiks and Uzbeks have different ethnic origins, but they are close. Close means they have mutual relationships among them. So if a group of people come here and we marry, mutual marriages occur and we mix up, and then some traces of genes are found in different people of different people, in different people of different people, then it doesn't make a nation belonging to that particular race. Yes. It must have a very solid and sound evidence for that. Then we will believe that yes, we belong to that. But people should know that Pashtuns are by themselves a separate nation, and they are coming separately with a rich culture, with a rich attitude, strong people. They fought for their rights from time to time, and they lived separately. And that is why their culture was sustained. Their culture was sustained with the time. And we still, the other day I was talking on a book and I mentioned it, that there is little difference between our time and Khushal Khan Khattak time. Because he used to write his poetry on paper with pen, and we write our poetry with pen. But there is a lot of difference between me and the today's kids because they are in the digital age. And the change is very enormous. So the world has not changed that much during the last several thousand years, but it has changed a lot during the last few decades. And now the people should go into the knowledge and scientific evidences, and they shouldn't rely on fiction, stories, and poetry and things like that when they talk about history.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
And last, please kindly recommend a book on the topic origin of Pathan for the general public and for the viewers.
I think that the books have been constantly rejected by scholars who are thinking scientifically. So it is better if somebody is interested in studying authentic material, they should go into published papers. Instead of books, if they go to the published papers about the genetic studies on the Pashtuns' origin, similarly the migration routes, the linguistics. There are many languages which are related to Hebrew, but not to Pashto. So if we had a Hebrew original language, then our Pashto should be at least 50% Hebrew, but we are not. There are many languages and people can find them, particularly in Zamanstani's article, that many languages originated from the Hebrew, and they are spoken by different Jew communities, but they have no relationship with the Pashto.
Thank you, Bar.
Thank you very much
for sharing your views.
Thank you.